Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 4 Europe Premier Division. This is going to be a best of two in the group stage between House of Gamers and mYi. I'm Grandis V, and I'm going to be joined by Mike Loris for this series.
And it's Join Dota League, so of course we're always going to be a little bit late, but an hour late is pushing it even for this. Regardless, we're here now, and well, the state of the tournament, Join Dota League Season 4, the division stages, the group stages, I suppose, is starting to wind down to a close. This is going to be mYi's last game. This is going to be one of House of Gamers' last games, and as far as the standing is concerned, mYi already guaranteed a spot in the finals, and House of Gamers just have to win a couple of games in order to guarantee their spot. So mYi, they are not actually playing for that much right now.
Yeah, they really aren't. House of Gamers, they're guaranteed to stay in Division 1 for the next season of Join Dota League, which is actually pretty important. The next season is actually going to be pretty big as far as prize pool and what have you is concerned, so props to them. But you definitely want to be in the finals, take home some prize money on top of that. For now, we are going to see the draft at least start up with the early bans from either side. Elder Titan IO banned up by mYi, and Viper Meepo by House of Gamers. I really don't like that they banned Meepo. mYi, since this is a game that doesn't really impact their standings, they can afford to be a little bit risky when it comes to their picks, and Lizard's Meepo is always something that's fun to watch.
And especially after waiting for an hour, we demand entertainment. We want to see Meepo because I don't think there are any other heroes that are more entertaining. So regardless, Meepo out. It's unfortunate, but there's always game two, maybe for mYi. If for House of Gamers, it's going to be Vengeful Spirit, Lycan as their openers, taking Lycan rather early, and it is going to mean that they are going to be able to apply a decent amount of split push and direct pushing power towards mYi with this hero.
For sure, mYi will get their hands on the Ogre Giant. He is a fairly interesting hero to watch, but nothing too out of the ordinary. It's going to be a Troll second for mYi, and maybe they are going to try something out, but as far as fringe picks, Troll Lord's probably one of the more staple ones. Or stable. That was the word I was looking for, not staple. But yeah, Troll Lord is one of the more stable ones. Usually does well in his lane, is always going to offer some nice pushing utility to the entire team.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to go for any sort of attack speed shenanigans. There are heroes that work pretty well with that additional attack speed with on-hit effects. Though those are usually melee, so maybe you don't really want to be going for too many melee heroes with already the Ogre Magi, Troll Warlord, sometimes melee, and you want him to be melee most of the time in those fights. So it will mean that they are packing one too many melee heroes, but man, going for someone like a Faceless Void, Slardar, those types of heroes, hell, even Legion Commander won't be too terrible. In fact, that would actually be pretty possible right now for mYi. It's a hero that they do like to play.
Yeah. In the order of probability, the heroes that I'd like to see them pair with this troll are Faceless Void, Leech Commander, and Spirit Breaker. Faceless Void's probably the most standard hero inside the metagame. Leech Commander is a possibility, but the one that I'd really like to see is the Spirit Breaker. Just that global ganking potential, especially up against the split-pushing Lycan, can be really sick. And as far as pub combos that I really like playing, Battle Trance plus the Spirit Breaker Bash can get pretty insane.
Oh man, we could only hope and dream for that. Again, mYi will be more willing to try stuff out. I don't know if they're gonna go that deep, but we'll just have to see. It is going to be the Legion Commander getting the boot out. Not surprising there. It would synergize very well with the additional attack speed. Not only the Troll, but also the Ogre Magi Bloodlust, so they have attack speed for days. And also at holding out Lycan, if you could duel him before he actually fully shapeshifts, then you will probably stand a pretty good chance of actually getting that kill. Maybe you're not going to win the duel, but you're definitely going to kill off the enemy hero. For mYi, it's going to be a Puck and an Ancient Apparition to be banned out.
Yeah, House of Gamers, this is where they're probably going to use the most of the reserve time that they use in this game, maybe outside of just the very last pick. But they're contemplating the final ban that they have as well as the next pick. Nature's Prophet's in the pool, so they could go for that if they want some extra split pushing potential. Even though there's an Ogre that could potentially cancel the Black Hole, Enigma is also available for House of Gamers and could give them some pretty potent pushing power with Eidolons plus Hal.
Or they just go for Jakiro and just have that liquid fire pushing and maybe a pseudo small counter to the additional attack speed of mYi. Who knows? They do have the first pick after the ban phase, and I think it should be a Jakiro. It would synergize pretty well with what they have right now and start shut down what mYi have. Or Tidehunter is also pretty good. He does pretty well against what mYi have. Doesn't synergize as directly with the House of Gamers heroes, but it's a Tidehunter. He'll always work out.
Yeah, just not something that you can really be, I don't know, it's one of the least risky heroes to pick up in the entire game. You can always go back into the jungle if you really want to mine Sandy. They go for the Witch Doctor, and this pretty much ensures that they're going to go for a Faceless Void. I don't think there's a better pick to synergize with these first three heroes.
And House of Gamers, they are going to go for that Enigma that you mentioned earlier. So Jungle Enigma most likely going to be the order of business, and it's going to be Jakiro actually taken by my
Ah,
Insanity. I think this is essentially acting as another ban. Still, Jakiro would have worked out pretty well for what House of Gamers are going for in this particular game. Void is looking still possible for my Insanity. Patrol Warlord towards mid, Jakiro, and Void as your two cores, and that could work out pretty well. And as far as my Insanity's ability to mess with the team fight of House of Gamers, they have a couple of stuns, definitely not enough to feel 100% comfortable all the time, but assuming the Enigma gets an average black hole, he will probably not get it off for very long.
considering the four heroes that Mind Sandy picked up for themselves, Faceless Void feels like pretty much a gimme pick for that fifth slot, right? So House of Gamers, it kind of feels awkward in this sort of draft situation where there's a hero that they kind of glanced over that they could have very easily gotten. They are going to take out that Faceless Void, and I can respect that, but maybe Mind and Sandy have something else up their sleeves.
Well, they have Jakiro, who's really good at killing off towers. Later in the game, Troll Warlord also very good at doing the exact same thing. They know that House of Gamers are going to be going for a little bit of aggressive pushing themselves. So no hero immediately comes to mind. Maybe they want to abuse the fact that House of Gamers are kind of low on crowd control, pick up someone with a lot of mobility.
Yeah. They have a decent amount of lockdown. It's just very cooldown centric. Really, the only reliable thing that they'll be able to have throughout the game is the magic missile. Everything else requires level 6 and has a really long cooldown, in the Ravage as well as the Black Hole. So it could be an option for them. I'm not sure exactly what that choice would be. If it wasn't banned, I would love to see a Meepo, even though it's not the greatest of picks up against what House of Gamers have, with the damage from Lycanthrope as well as the AoE CC from Tide and Enigma. Troll Warlord attack speed with Meepo is pretty ridiculous, especially destroying towers. It's going to be a Brewmaster, and somehow he's managed to slip his way through the cracks of the banning stage this entire game. Honestly, I was expecting him to be banned and didn't even notice.
Yeah, me too. Brewmaster's gonna work out pretty well for what House of Gamers have as far as the team fight is concerned. In My Insanity, they have a couple of tools at dealing with the Brewmaster pre-split. After split, Troll Warlord will maybe get to a level where he can just tear down the Brewmaster, but that's gonna be very late in the game. House of Gamers, they have okay laning. They have very tanky heroes in general. They have a good amount of pushing, so they have a pretty strong team comp. I think if they do go astray, it's going to be within the first couple of minutes where My Insanity with the Jakiro and Troll Warlord might just completely go off and take one too many kills, and then House of Gamers are going to be on the back foot. But even if that happens, you're working with a Black Hole and a Ravage. You could always come back when you have those skills.
Yeah, their mid-game team fight is incredibly scary. For Mind Sandy, it is going to be the Storm Spirit. And right now, House of Gamers are lacking the lockdown to convincingly keep a Storm Spirit in place. Most of these spells are either fairly telegraphed, easily shut down by Storm Spirit jumping in and orchiding somebody, in particular the Brewmaster, or can be disjointed, like the Magic Missiles. So, Storm, it feels like a pretty good pick here. Just having that extra control for Brew.
Yeah, so a ball lightning into an Orchid will shut down many of the House of Gamers heroes. And I mean, even if you're channeling a Black Hole, Storm Spirit could just go right into you and Orchid you, and then suddenly you're going to be a little bit more unhappy about that. My Insanity, they have a good mix of early game and late game, though I feel like House of Gamers are a little bit stronger in that regard as far as the balance is concerned. It's the initiation that really has to get going for My Insanity. The Storm Spirit is going to have to do quite a bit of heavy lifting as far as starting the fights, at least until the Jakiro gets his Yule Scepter. But even when that happens, you want to be starting the fight, ideally, by killing off a Brewmaster from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If they let this game just passively progress, then House of Gamers is going to get blinks on Tide, Enigma, and the Brewmaster. And at that point, finding a favorable initiation just is going to be so difficult for them. That said, we are going to have to see how this game works. That House of Gamers are going to be on the dire side. I believe if they win one or two games, they're almost assured to get into the playoffs. So let's see if they're going to be able to accomplish that. SLHC going to be playing on the Tidehunter, Faith and Strangers on the Venge, Brewmaster by Slash Strike, a Moment on the Enigma, and Malum on the Lycanthrope.
Just looking at it real quickly, yeah, I think if they win 2 games in out of their next 4 games, then they're guaranteed a spot in the finals. So they're playing for wins right now. And My Insanity, they don't really care. They have the Jakiro, who's going to be played by Milan. Mitch is going to be on the Ogre Magi. Grazine is going to be playing the Troll Warlord with Lizard on the Witch Doctor. That leaves Cole on the Storm Spirit. So, yeah, House of Gamers, they are very close, and it's assuming they win 2 games and they're ensured their spot. Of course, the only contender, I think, is Goomba Gaming, who still have games to play.
Yeah, and even if they lose all of their games and go like 1-1 versus Goomba, they could still be stuck in a tie situation where they could come through. If they win 2, however, it's completely in the bag, or at least as far as I can see. I don't actually know how the math actually works out.
Yeah, it's too hard to add up all those games, man. There's way too many numbers there. It's like, well, some teams have some games to play. They might be playing against each other, which is going to throw a wrench into all of the math, and man, that's just a pain in the ass. But for right now, it's not going to be a problem because we have ourselves a very aggressive play from Mitch, Lizard, and Grazine. They have an Observer Ward, 2 sentries, and they're going to do their best in order to shut down this Enigma's jungle. The Enigma, there are 2 sentries on the Vengeful Spirit, though Faith and Strangers is in the complete wrong lane for this one. So the Enigma might be slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, this is an incredibly aggressive opening coming out from Mind Sandy. Trollord's actually gone for axes at level 1 to get that extra range slow. This is a pretty decent choice inside an aggressive tri lane, but it's not the one that immediately comes to mind. His farming is going to be slowed down a little bit because of it, but level 2 comes quickly enough to where it's probably not going to impact the game negatively. For House of Gamers, their defensive tri-lane with Venge +1 really isn't that strong, so I like this choice of them to go into the aggressive dual lane and sniffing out the Maya and Sandy are going for an aggro lane. Up against Enigma, it's a really easy choice to make. That said, leaving the Troll 1v1 versus the Tide is pretty easy for them to do, and roaming with the Ogre and Witch Doctor is pretty scary as well. There is potential that even if they don't get first blood on the Tide Hunter, that they rotate towards mid, kill off Malum, or just make it a defensive tri-lane with Jakiro as the farming core, which is also pretty strong.
Pretty much wherever Lizard and Mitch go, they're going to get something done and not lose all too much. Jakiro on the bottom lane might need the help. Slash Strike is currently, in quotation marks, solo on the lane. However, Milan is going to realize something's wrong now that Slash Strike is being so aggressive. He will send a random illusion off to the side. Faith and Strangers will dodge that one for now. Now is going to loop around for a Magic Missile if he could get in range, which he's not going to be able to. Looks like it's going to be fully revealed. There are 2 heroes down on the bottom lane, and this means that the top lane for My Insanity is going to have that much more room to move around and do pretty much whatever they want.
For now, what Mitch wants to do is to annoy the Enigma a little bit. Hasn't spotted out the Eidolons and what have you, and actually, this Radiant Ward doesn't block that large camp. This camp spawn box is actually really janky. I thought that one blocked it for sure.
Yeah, apparently so did My Insanity. You have to place it like a couple pixels to the right or something like that. Mitch is taking 1 too many shots from these Eidolons. Have to respect those, even though you may have 7 armor. It was like, what, 6 units that were attacking you all at the same time? That's just a lot of damage that adds up. He's still doing his best in order to shut down this Enigma's farm, and that's definitely worthwhile, but it'd be so much easier if they actually successfully blocked this camp. You gotta put it like, man, it must be just on the edge of that spawn box.
Yeah, I would have to go into a lobby and try out the D-word spots, because honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know. It would be really nice if you could actually see the spawn boxes in like a spectator situation for when you're discussing wards, but I doubt that that's actually going to be implemented. Either way, they are going to rotate the Witch Doctor off of the lane as well, as it's going to make his way down towards bottom, and that's because Troll doesn't really need this help up against the Tide Hunter. He's been zoned out for the first couple of waves, at least as far as getting CS is concerned, and now with 1 level advantage over the Tide. Even in an even situation, Troll should have a decent time CSing. This way, Tide's really able to put no pressure at all.
The nukes of Troll is going to give him quite an edge in this lane, being able to clear out waves and at the same time putting a lot of damage onto the Tide. And if he's in range form, more so than he's in melee, then he's going to be able to get free harassment as well. All of that adds up to a 1 lane. Mitch is still trying to mess with the Moment, who's cleared off 1 of these stacks, I believe, but is really struggling to get anything else going. In the meantime, bottom lane, looks like Lizard's going to be taking a full-on support role, helping out Milan a little bit, though. It doesn't really seem like the Jakiro needs the help. Is not being pressured back at all by the Vengeful Spirit, because really Vengeful Spirit can't do that by herself, and it will just be Milan trading hits if it does come to it. So Jakiro getting quite a lot of help, and House of Gamers, their laning scenario is okay, but it's definitely not working as well as they really would have planned, especially this mid lane, where Cole is just putting the screws to Malum.
Yeah, Storm Spirit really does excel when you are in a melee, or against a melee hero. Getting that bottle incredibly early is also going to help. Just a damage advantage, or not a damage advantage when he just has his normal right clicks, but with the overload, means that Lycan's not able to deny him any farm. It's actually bottom where we see the first blood. Onto this Jakiro. I wasn't expecting him to fall, but it looks like just magic missile into clap and rundown.
It's possible that the Jakiro just didn't realize that the Vengeful Spirit was still here, just because it was a long time since the Vengeful Spirit has actually shown her face or has really done anything. But Magic Missile and Clap do some pretty serious damage, and Lizard even there with the level 1 heal, not quite enough to keep the Jakiro safe. So Jakiro is going to be going down, and honestly, that's kind of okay for my insanity. Losing your Jakiro isn't really the end of the world. As long as he's getting levels, and he's going to be just fine to eventually push those towers.
Yeah. It's still an advantageous trade for House of Gamers. It makes up a little bit for the fact that their other lanes aren't going super well, but still his Storm Spirit should be absolutely running the game. He's getting free farm in mid, which is just not something that you see very often. Usually mid heroes are shut down at least a little bit, but 27 and 11, he's out farming his friendly troll and denying quite a bit from the Lycan as well.
And now he might even get a little bit of help from his friendly Ogre, who has boots first. Malum is not going to see this one coming until the Ogre is just going to come into range, and then he backs out of range. So that was unfortunate from Mitch, very fortunate for Malum that the Ogre misjudged the night distance, and Malum for now is going to be playing this really safe. As long as he stays more towards the south than to the north, I don't think he's going to be going down, though Cole is one creep away from level 6, and he has a regen rune, and that could lead to some wild situations.
Level 6 now ticked. Lycanthrope does know that this is going on, and Cole very easily could dive for this kill. I think they're going to go for it. Fire Blast in, pops the regeneration. He is going to get that cancelled by the tower, but it will still secure the kill. And adds some bottle charges to boot. Magic Missile up. Cole doesn't have a lot of mana to spend, but is going to be just fine.
He's going to bottle up, get pretty much to full HP, and it is going to be a dive successful on the Lycan. And it was a little close. It maybe would have been a little bit safer if they knew the Vengeful Spirit was going to come in, but regardless, Cole is going to be happy with that kill. And they also forced out a TP from the VS, which ultimately didn't do anything. And because Vengeful Spirit is now in the mid lane, that means she's not in the bottom lane. That means the push can now commence on this tower. Level 3 Liquid Fire is pretty darn good. It's really level 4 where it starts to really shine, but hell, any damage you can put on this tower is going to stick. And Slash Strike, he's going to try to pull off the aggro and mess with the creeps, but he really can't get too much done here. He's got to watch out for level 2 Dual Breath.
Definitely. Right now, the Jakiro, even after giving up that first blood, is still having a grand time in this bottom lane, farming well, and more importantly, getting the levels. They're going to pop a troll ultimate, but instead it's going to be HoG to wrap around onto this troll. I think that was more or less just for farming purposes. I don't see anybody getting gone on Magic Missile, and they have a Malefice if they really need it, and I'm not sure they are. The axes are going to be a little bit annoying, but one more attack from the Enigma is going to be the end of Troll's life. Just getting a little too comfortable up in the top lane.
There was really no chance for the troll to survive there either. He is not that tanky, he only has a poor man's shield, and very, very far up in the lane. The smoke also made it so that the troll thought he was safe because of his observer ward next to the hard camp pull. So he didn't see that one coming, and he certainly paid the price for it. A kill for the House of Gamer side, Enigma showing his face. Now level 5, and he is packing boots, but that's pretty much it. Not getting that much net worth on this Enigma, and usually you expect your Enigma to be farming up and getting quite a bit of cash, but looks like the mech for House of Gamers, if that is going to be the build for Enigma, is going to be rather delayed.
Yeah, he's actually going to be picking up a Belt of Giant Strength. Usually I'd say this is for power treads, but it kind of feels like he's going for a Necronomicon rush.
They both would be okay. Usually there's no reason to get power treads first as Enigma. Going for a Necro Book first is only really good if the enemy team has invisible heroes, which currently my Insanity do not have. So I think for neither of them are really good items, but power treads might be a little bit less worse.
Fair enough. I think Mechanism is probably the no-brainer choice, but either way, in mid, Malum going to be jumped again. There is going to be a zip down to low ground, but still the Ravage catches out both the Ogre and the Storm Spirit, killing off the Ogre, and now into Cole they're going to go. As we have a pause, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, Mouse stopped. Okay, fair enough. Cole is probably going to die here. He doesn't have enough mana to really zip anywhere, not even enough to activate it, unless he tread switches.
There are no disables here from House of Gamers except for the Vengeful Spirit, who is a little bit too far away. I think she will maybe be able to catch up, although that seems very unlikely. The Wolf maybe I'm underestimating the damage he could put out, but I think this is going to be just fine for Cole, even though he is out of mana. He has Lizard right behind him, or Lizard coming in, rather. He has level 2 cast, level 2 heal, and if Cole keeps his distance away, if Malum gets body blocked at all, then they should be able to keep the Storm Spirit alive. Maybe if Malum gets a little bit too over-aggressive in his wolf form, he could even go down. But I think just the fact that House of Gamers don't have any more disables here, they might not be able to get the kill.
Fair enough. I think it's going to depend on whether or not Lycan gets crits. They'll drop Cole pretty low, but yeah, getting a kill is another story. Yeah, he might just be able to walk out of this. Let's see. Tidehunter, we're going to get to good to go, and now we're unpausing. Let's see if Cole's going to be surviving. The wolves are doing quite a bit of damage to him, chunked down by both the little wolves and the big wolves. There is paralyzing cast to bounce through. It bounces to Malum, then back to the wolves, then back to Malum. It looks like that's going to save Storm Spirit's life, but then again, Lizard not so lucky. Caught by a magic missile is going to be munched down by the wolf, and now Malum with the remainder of that shapeshift is going to be able to make it out alive. In the meantime, Enigma kills off the Troll Warlord mostly solo with the help of a black hole.
So Enigma is going to be getting a kill for himself, and I guess I was right. Cole survived, but Witch Doctor didn't, so half victory, I suppose. I'm half right in that mYi and Sandy end up losing 2 heroes, and well, the Lycan is going to be pretty happy with that. He hasn't had the best laning stage in the world. Any sort of killer assist that he could get is going to be huge for him. Though they do get a couple of kills, they are going to have to worry about their bottom lane, which is being slightly pressured by Milan, and they did use their Ravage for that. So that, I guess those 2 kills are kind of to be expected when you expend an ultimate in that sense. But so far, things not going the best for mYi and Sandy, but certainly could be a lot worse, as SLHD on the bottom lane might actually just burn to the Jakiro. Actually, no. He gets a fortunate Kraken Shell proc, and he will debuff all of those dots.
Yeah, it's actually an Orb of Venom on Jakiro. Huh. Yeah, wasn't expecting that pickup for him, but I suppose in lane up against the Brewmaster could help you, and he had an Orb of Venom as well on the Brew, so any effectiveness you can get out of the harass is pretty nice for you, and 275 gold deviation from a standard build isn't going to hurt you at all, especially when you're getting more farm than your enemy counterpart. Everybody on the side of mYi and Sandy, or at least the cores, are all farming better than the ones on the side of House of Gamers. A little bit that's due to the tower, but still just the raw CS is vastly in their favor.
And that tower advantage is something that you're going to be able to rely on whenever you pick up a Jakiro. Over towards mid, they're going to try to go for Malum. Here comes Mitch to help out a little bit as well. Fire Blast and a little bit more lightning. He's going to kill off the Lycan, but it might kill off Cole as well. Wolves chasing him down a moment. Needs a couple more right clicks from the low ground. It will be enough with the Wolves. That's going to be 1 kill. Mitch now is in a little bit of trouble. He's going to try to run away from this one. Lizard's going to come in with the heal, and Mitch, very tanky with that heal and armor that he has, being beaten down by Slash Strike. Looks like they will fall short. Ogre Magi is going to walk away from that. In the meantime, top lane Vengeful Spirit gets dove by Grazine and Milan. And with Liquid Fire still flowing, it looks like the tower will fall, making it a 2-for-1 trade plus tower overall.
Yeah, it's mYi and Sandy, even though they're coming behind in the kills, they're still able to maintain this tower advantage because of the Jakiro, and it's looking pretty good for them because of it, and also just their raw farming levels. Troll Warlord is going to be working presumably into what Vladimir is offering this game with that Morbid Mask. Maybe it's just casual for him to farm. Jakiro's going to die up towards top. Is they're able to bring in the wolf, use that shapeshift as well as presumably just a Malefice from a moment.
Yeah, the Jakiro was very weak, and had to get the tower that was secured for him, so I think giving your life for the tower as Jakiro is perfectly worth it, though it's unfortunate that he had to give his life at all. It's over towards mid lane where we might see some more action brewing as Tidehunter's in the area with a Ravage. Mitch and Lizard the only targets, although here comes Grazine. Also, probably more of a target than he is a threat for the House of Gamers side, packing that Ravage. They're going to fall back for now, but they have Ravage and Split. This should not be a lost fight for House of Gamers if they actually manage to get those skills out.
Yeah, I don't see a great way for mYi and Sandy to stop them from getting those skills out. They have a Yule Scepter and Ice Path, but Ice Path's only level 1 for the Jakiro, so not the most impressive skills. And also Witch Doctor without his level 6, and Ogre Magi without his level 6. Their damage as far as supports are concerned are fairly limited right now.
Well, they're still going to have some decent damage towards this tower, and they will do their best in order to chip it down. It is fortification already forced out. A moment is here. I believe they might have seen Faith and Strangers as well. Then they now have an eye on follow SLHZ, as Grazine is going to ignore the Tidehunter and instead jack his Ancients. I think that's probably the better way to go. Grazine probably couldn't have killed off that Tide, and he will instead get a little bit of gold. Anyway, tower also is going to be destroyed. So, though House of Gamers are certainly capable of defending right now, it looks like they're going to be waiting for just a little while longer. Brewmaster has enough gold for his Blink Dagger. Now they can really defend.
Yeah. This is going to be a very important pickup for House of Gamers. Their Lycanthrope, he has the Vlads, which is kind of nice, but nothing on top of that, and he's died twice. So you can't really call it a victory for them. mYi and Sandy, they're getting this early advantage because of the Jakiro early push, and because of how their lanes went, but they need to find a way to maintain this, and push up into these huge ultimates coming out from House of Gamers. A BKB on Storm and Troll feels mandatory, although for Storm it's going to be after the Orchid, it seems.
And that Orchid is still pretty far away. He needs both the Orchid and BKB if he's going to convincingly take those pickoffs. They could maybe randomly find Slash Strike all alone, and that could result in some pretty good team fighting for mYi and Sandy, but that's also a pretty tall order, especially when House of Gamers are going to have Aegis backup. They're going to smoke in with absolutely everyone, though with their team comp, they don't actually need everyone here. They're all going to be spotted by Mitch with a haste rune. However, that's not going to be relevant because it just runs out. Not like it might have mattered. He wasn't going anywhere anyway. So that's going to be a kill onto the Ogre Magi. House of Gamers, their Roshan attempt is going to be crashed as lots of mYi and Sandy heroes are closing in. There is a Death Ward, and House of Gamers, if they ravage before that Death Ward, then things can be really bad for them really quickly. But still, the Roshan is being brought down. Ben's going to get caught in a dual breath. That's about it. mYi and Sandy, they're not going to engage on this one, so they probably should just leave right now.
Yeah, not exactly sure what the plan was there. They used a couple of cooldowns. That's LHG is going to be obliterated by Cole in the duration of one pull. No Orchid necessary. I wasn't expecting to be able to get that kill, but turns out that maxed out Overload does a lot of damage.
And I'm pretty sure Tidehunter wasn't at full HP either. He wasn't perfectly healthy. Down towards bottom lane, Slash Strike and Malum both chain stunned up with the Death Ward being channeled. They'll take out the Aegis, but the split does come out. Now Lizard, stunned up, sitting in the Midnight Pulse, is going to be going down as well. Grazine, he's going to take a boulder to the face, but he is going to try to back out as a moment. And Faith and Strangers getting into position for a stun. Grazine, just out of Magic Missile range, will be fine. Brewmaster still in his split form, though he can't do anything else with it. That was pretty much the dream there for Witch Doctor, landing a perfect chain stun on 2 with Cask, but just falling short in the damage department.
Definitely, it's Witch Doctor for the Aegis as well as the Brewmaster split. I think that's an even trade for mYi and Sandy, especially since Witch Doctor is going to be back up. And obviously he doesn't have Death Ward, but then again, Brewmaster's not going to have split, so I think that's completely fine for mYi and Sandy, even though it starts out and could have gone worse for House of Gamers. It's pretty much as best they can hope for, just with the heroes that they have. If they had the Orchid on Storm, maybe they could have chain stunned the Brewmaster before he got off his split. In the meantime, it's just going to be split push coming out from mYi and Sandy is contesting this fight even without the Brewmaster and his ulti. You have a Titan Ravage and a Black Hole, which are definitely nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, it might even be scarier than a Brewmaster split just because of how hard it is to dodge that Ravage. They're going to try to go for mid lane in the meantime. They probably can't do this, though they will put some serious damage onto the tower. They will back out just fine. mYi and Sandy, they're just waiting for that Orchid to be completed onto Cole before they start anything large scale. But House of Gamers, they still have their ultimates that we just listed before. They're having time for their Brewmaster ultimate to cool down. Malum's going to rotate towards mid lane, and it looks like they're going to commit to a mid lane push. Now Tidehunter packing a Blink Dagger, they can probably get away with this, although I'd rather like to see Malum stay on the bottom lane, just split push, because he's Lycan. That's what Lycans do.
Yeah, and honestly, inside the team fights, although he's useful to have, I'm not sure if he's necessary for their team. And the extra damage that he's going to be offering, just the Eidolons with Hal, is probably enough for his impact to be felt inside the team fight, even without him there. It is going to wear off now, but the tier 1 tower in mid is more or less completely dead, and the chance that mYi and Sandy are actually going to look for a contention for that tower is very limited. Storm Spirit and Jakiro are putting some pressure on the tier 2 top, which will force House of Gamers back, but it isn't going to take this tower either.
This might even be helping out House of Gamers a little bit. In fact, it's not going to be direct, but now that mYi and Sandy have pulled the attention of House of Gamers towards the top lane, they are going to be more inclined to push a top lane tower. And also, Malum is already shapeshifted. He's going to run into Cole and then run away from Cole and then run back in. Milan has got a TP like right now. Too late. He's dead. He's going to not even have a chance to throw an Ice Path. And yeah, the Jakiro's going to go down. And since House of Gamers, they're all here, they have now all of their big ultimates up. They're just going to go for the top tier 1. So taking each tier 1 tower consecutively, not bad as far as getting yourself a gold advantage. And as far as trades are concerned, because the Jakiro is down, I don't think they can get any sort of tower trading. Maybe they're going to take mid lane if Malum dies for some reason, gets death warded or initiated upon by the Storm Spirit. But by the time that happens, the tier 1 top will already be dead. Malum's going to get jumped big by Cole. And it looks like with the Orchid now up, Malum is going to be falling. Ogre Magi stealing kill there. Well done, Mitch. So it's a kill on the Lycan, but still the tower is alive. Here comes Grazine with the Battle Trance. The moment and Faith Exchange is going to fall back. Lizard gonna throw a zoning cask, Ignite throwing it out as well. Lizard though taking tower shots, one too many. Might be dropping here actually. SLHZ with the Blink Aggro Smash will get the kill. Grazine gonna teleport up to the top lane, when in the meantime Jakiro is trying to pursue out Slash Strike, but he has a split, so there's zero chance the Brewmaster actually dies right now. Grazine in the meantime, in the mid lane, is gonna be hit with the Magic Missile, throws out some axes, multicast to follow to delay the Tidehunter's advance. But still, Grazine is in a lot of trouble. Blink forward, Anchor Smash, and the beatdown. That's going to be a double kill for the Tidehunter. In the meantime, split happening up towards top. Milan is going to get juggled up in the air, not once but twice, but then the boulder is going to find him on the way down. And then that's going to be a kill on the Jakiro. Returning to the main forum for a big crit, finishing the fight in style. House of Gamers take a huge series of wins all across the map.
Right now, even if, excuse me, mYi and Sandy were able to maintain this lead, that's not enough. And right now, they're almost completely zeroed out. And I think House of Gamers, they can just fall back on these big ultimates to win them fights. We have yet to see the Ravage and Black Hole used in the last couple of minutes, and they might need to kill, or might not need to kill Mitch. They will do so. It's onto the Ogre as well as onto the Witch Doctor. Lizard should be able to escape beneath his tower. There's not much else that they can use to pursue. But still, House of Gamers, they're looking pretty good in this game. As soon as they were able to come back on even footing with the towers, mYi and Sandy, stalling out was not the plan this game. Jump in mid onto Malum. He is going to be burned down to the soul burn of the Orchid as well as a couple more auto attacks. But now Cole, low on mana, might be in some trouble. Although without a Ravage, it's unlikely to be able to kill. And even so, Tidehunter doesn't have a lot of mana. If he had a Gush, Cole probably would be dead now.
So mYi and Sandy, the only kills that they're actually getting are the kills that Cole is finding for the team. Aside from the Storm Spirit, none of the other mYi and Sandy heroes feel like they're actually doing anything. Maybe the Battle Trance is sometimes relevant. The Liquid Fire has been useful in killing off the towers, but now that House of Gamers have all their Blink Daggers up, when they have their ultimates up, mYi and Sandy's ability to take those towers is severely restricted. So it feels like mYi and Sandy, they're just not working with any gold right now. Even though the Troll is near the top of the net worth chart, it doesn't feel like he has anything that's useful right now. They're going to take down a tier 2 in the mid lane. Certainly nice for them, but House of Gamers, they're more than okay with letting this fall, because once all their ultimates are back up, it's going to be House of Gamers' turn to push.
And Troll, he's not going to be relevant for quite a long time, actually. He's going to go for a Midas. So mop up a couple of these Eidolons, which is nice gold for the team, and experience for Grazine as well as the Jakiro. But either way, looks like mYi and Sandy want to just take this late, and taking it late up against Black Hole, Ravage, and a Lycanthrope to back up that. I'm not sure if this is the right choice, although it might feel necessary for mYi and Sandy.
Maybe they're just going to try to accrue a whole bunch of items and then buy a 30-minute-ish BKB. That's probably their best bet at taking this game late, since House of Gamers, they are very reliant on their ultimates. It might come to one of those situations where House of Gamers use all their ultimates, take a good team fight, but then mYi and Sandy respawn, buy back, whatever, and then they just counter push and then take a lot more in the crackback. So it is certainly a possible way for mYi and Sandy to go about this game, but I feel like this might be a little bit too late. It's not like House of Gamers are sitting back and content to farm. They're actively pushing your lanes, so Hand of Midas is not going to help you defend.
Yeah, they are actively pushing themselves, and they'll get a tier 2 tower up towards top, and this is the power of Troll, even without going for any huge pushing items. All he has is the Vlad's Power Treads, and it's really Battle Trance that's showing its worth. They are going to trade evenly as far as tier 2 towers are concerned, but the biggest issue is how are mYi and Sandy actually going to be able to break the high ground, and it looks like they're going to try now, actually. They're going to put champ damage, and they're trading straight up with HoG, and they're winning. Even though they don't have the Troll ultimate available, Liquid Fire, as well as just having more heroes hitting the tower, is going to keep them ahead in this exchange. But a moment now is smoked up. No Blink Dagger onto this Enigma yet. Is going to spot eyes on the Lizard, or at least the smoke's going to break onto him. They don't actually have vision. Mitch not going to be able to get the Fire Blast off. Actually will, between those Malefice ticks. Very interesting, as well as the Ignite. Although no animations were played, Mitch is going to fall. For a tier 2 tower, losing Ogre, as well as forcing back the enemy team, and I think that's a fine trade for mYi and Sandy, although trading isn't what they wanted to do.
And they don't really have a choice in the matter. Unfortunately, they lost the Ogre in that. Not really a terribly huge deal, but it would have been much better if they somehow managed to pull out any of these teamfight ultimates, because House of Gamers, their pushing is not going to stop, and this time there's no trade and no force back of mYi and Sandy in sight. Maybe they're going to get the Orchid onto SLHZ, maybe they cancel out the Ravage, but they can only cancel out one of these skills unless somehow they find more stuns, and I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. Sheepstick, Orchid, not going to be purchased on any other heroes in the next upcoming minutes. House of Gamers, they're going to keep rolling forward with the ultimates that they have. Death Pulse on the or Midnight Pulse on the floor. Malum is just working at that tower. It's slow and steady, but with the Howl and the Eidolons doing some pretty nice extra damage. mYinsanity, they kind of want to defend this, but they also can't afford to get into a team fight. So what are you supposed to do here?
Exactly what they're doing. Pull off the creep aggro and try your best to defend the push and get as much as you can out of the map. But I fear that it's not enough. I think they're making the right call. Just sit back, throw an Ignite here or there, pull the creep aggro behind the tower, get some farm up for Grazine. Storm Spirit's pushing down towards bottom. He's sitting on enough gold to where he can buy a TP scroll to join this fight. But for now, it looks like they're looking to make a jump onto Cole himself. He does have zip and should be able to keep himself safe, unless they perfectly chain summon, which is a possibility, but only if the first one lands. Cole instead might be setting a trap. He does have a couple of, or excuse me, just the one remnant over the Roshan pit, which is giving him vision, but not going to find anything further. He's setting himself out as bait. We could have a big fight soon. It's going to start out onto the Enigma. They're going to silence him up with the swap. Now the Ravage going to land on a whole slew of heroes, but there's no follow-up for it. The Black Hole only onto Grazine, and then he gets cancelled by something. Grazine going to bash him after the fact. It's going to bring down the Enigma, but now inside the shapeshift form, Malum munches down the Witch Doctor. Grazine looking for the TP out. Is going to succeed as no magic missile was available. It was on cooldown. Milan now with the Gush as well as the Anchor Smash. Milan's going to drop zip away from the Storm Spirit, trying to avoid these Brewmaster minions, but now almost completely tapped out. Man, does have the Soul Ring to pop and then a little bit more zip, but can he even get it off? He's got a Soul Ring that can get bashed down by Slash Strike, and now into Mitch with the slow coming out from Drunken Haze. Looks like Mitch is also going to fall. He can turn for one more Fire Blast. That's all he can do. Does get a 2x multicast, but it looks like he's as good as dead. Blink, clap, not going to hit. Mitch was going down towards the south, but I don't think that's going to save his life, only delaying the inevitable.
Swap back from Faith and Strangers. This might actually be the death of the VS. Oh, it could have been. Oh, it might actually still be. VS Ignite. Is that lethal? I think it might be. Heal, heal, heal. Oh, it's just barely lethal. Ogre Magi gets the kill. And wow, Vengeful Spirit, yeah, could have maybe survived out of that with one Urn of Shadows tick, but instead, that would have been a kill. Slash Strike had that in the bag, and the Brewmaster at 700 HP, wasn't in any danger there, but Vengeful Spirit just trying to be a little bit cute, and you should never try to be cute in this game. It's going to get you killed. Still, House of Gamers take a massive fight. They use all their team fight ultimates, and mYinsanity just do not have enough sustain. Even though the Black Hole was there for, like, what, less than a second, it really didn't matter. House of Gamers at that point already had the split out, already used the Ravage, were already shapeshifted, and were ready to go. Now they have the Aegis, and once they have their ultimates back up online, probably they're just going to wait for Ravage in another minute. They could go for a little bit more pressure towards the mYinsanity base. This is not looking good for the Radiant.
It really isn't. This is almost a Necrobook 3 for the Lycanthrope. He has a double damage true in the bottle, too. And when you're shapeshifted and you get an extra 113 damage with those crits on top of it, that's a huge amount of damage. And he'll have that available for him for the next 2 minutes whenever he wants to pop it. And I presume that that's going to be in 50 seconds once they have the once they have the Ravage. Black Hole, although it's a nice spell to have, I'm not sure if they need to wait for it before they push.
Yeah, they could probably get away with it, but yeah, because they have the Aegis, they probably can. I don't know if they're going to be willing to. There's not much sense in going in when you are still waiting for your big ultimates, but whatever they decide to do, it should be them having quite a nice advantage in doing it. The Dire have a nice chunk of net worth right now, and it was being held by mYinsanity for quite a long time, mostly due, in fact, to the towers. But as this game is going to progress, the team fight power of House of Gamers is going to give them a golden experience lead. And mYinsanity, they're still working with that Troll Warlord Handamitis, but did you even notice Troll Warlord in the last fight? Because I didn't.
Okay, so how that fight started out with the Black Hole, that's where I actually saw the Troll go to work. Like, they started out with the Black Hole solo onto the Troll. I'm not exactly sure what canceled it, actually, onto the Enigma. It looked like Enigma got bashed as soon as he cast Black Hole, but I don't think that is possible. He got bashed immediately afterwards. At the very
least. It shouldn't be possible. Maybe it was just like a random cask or something.
It probably was. I think I was just seeing things. But either way, he was able to bring down the Enigma, but that was it. He does have a BKB now, which is going to be useful for him. But Troll with just BKB Vlad's, he can do a decent amount of damage, but his impact isn't that of a 10,000 net worth hero.
It's not like House Gamers don't have answers to a BKB either. They have the Black Hole sometimes. They have Swap just to keep distance from the Troll Warlord. And Lycan, if he is shapeshifted and he has his Necro Unit army, then he doesn't give a damn about your magic community. He will just kill you anyway. So House of Gamers, they don't really have to worry about this BKB that much from Troll. It's going to be inconvenient for sure. Like, you can't just magic missile him, you can't ravage him, but that's not going to be that big a deal for the House of Gamers side, quite honestly. They're just going to farm up a little bit for now, but they have a lot of heroes up on top lane, and Tidehunter, 13 seconds till Ravage, might be clearing a stack first. He's not going to get a Refresher Orb just yet, so maybe it's going to be a little bit longer the House of Gamers decide to wait, but they have the Aegis ticking away, and with a level 3 Necrobook, that should be the item that forces them to push.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We're still 50 seconds on the timer for Black Hole. mYi right now, looking for pickups is probably their best tool, but that's only if they can secure the vision on the map. And right now, they do have some pretty darn good wards. They have control over the enemy woods with the ward up top. They have vision in mid for a Storm Spirit Jump, although that's about to wear off. And they also have vision over their Ancients. At this point in the game, that's pretty solid, especially when you compare it to the modest 2 wards around Roshan Pit for HoG, which have already served their purpose.
Honestly, HoG don't really need that much map control because they are often, or so often, going to just 5-man around. Like, it's nice to see the enemy coming, but you have so much power in the Ravage and the Split that you honestly don't even need to be investing too much if you're going to be taking fights. If they split off and start farming everywhere, then yeah, for sure, it's going to be a little bit problematic that they don't have much vision, but they really just don't need that much.
Fair enough. Well, apparently Grazine is lagging. We have no idea why, but that's what's happening. Necrobook is going to be the choice for the Enigma. Honestly, I don't think Blink is necessary for this game for Enigma, since they have 2 other great ways to start the fight, although I think it would have been also a valid choice. This is going to help out their pushing power. Necrobook is an item that gets better the more of them you have, just because of the raw amount of ability to take down those towers. The counter push from mYi is pretty limited, especially if you can move those creeps away. Macropyre in theory would be good, but that's only if you lane the Ice Path on the Necro units as well.
So it's going to be House Gamers having a total of 4 points of Necronomicon, or 4 levels of Necronomicon, going to be pushing down what looks like the mid tier 2 tower. They don't have to use the Necrobooks for that one. It's already so weak that they could just walk in and take it probably. But this is going to be very difficult for mYi to defend. They have the BKB Yule Scepter, or they have the BKB on the Troll, Yule Scepter on the Jakiro, nothing else on anyone else. Ogre Magi is actually getting pretty close to his Aghanim Scepter, all things considered, but I don't think that's going to be the largest swing item, as Brewmaster now picks up his BKB, so his ultimate is guaranteed. This is going to be pretty darn deadly from the House of Gamers side.
It definitely is, and I think mYi, they kind of need some really clutch plays to win out here. Macropyre and the Midnight Pulse are down on the ground, but as far as cooldowns are concerned, Midnight Pulse is going to be up well before that Macropyre, and I think this pretty much forfeits tier 2 tower, especially since the Necrobook was popped by the Lycanthrope. Yeah, that tower is gone.
There's with the Howl damage as well, so much extra damage. Maybe a deny? Yeah, they get the deny. Honestly, that's probably the best that they could have hoped for. There are many heroes on the House of Gamers side of the map. I assume it was Grazine to just BKB TP away, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. He forces out a little bit, maybe like a shapeshift, but that's about it. From the House of Gamers side, certainly it's nice to not having to worry about this push if you're going to be that Troll Warlord, but this push is going to happen anyway, and now you're only working with 9 seconds of magic immunity, and Troll Warlord is a hero that needs every single second of that.
Definitely. Storm Spirit. Now with the Bloodstone completed, it kind of feels like Cole is just looking to farm this up, look for a couple pickoffs here and there, and take this as late as possible. I don't know, if he wanted to fight now, I think BKB's the choice, and he's going to delay that Black King bar until his next item is all the way completed, and maybe even after a Scythe, although I think that would probably be too late. Lizard looking for the TP out, going to be denied by Midnight Pulse and a Malefice. It's going to cancel his TP and drop him down to the ground. Troll Lord's disconnected, so we are going to have the instant pause that comes with that, but I don't know, good game sense from HoG, just finding exactly where the Witch Doctor was sitting.
And he's going to be taking a dirt nap soon enough. Bottom lane is being pushed out by Cole. Maybe mYi are going to have enough power to force House of Gamers back. Last time it was everyone from House of Gamers to retreat. I think it would probably be better this time if they just leave the Lycan here and try to, swap some heroes from the bottom lane of their own in the top lane, just because the Lycan is more or less guaranteed to take a whole lot of structural damage. And honestly, if you really need the Lycan, he could teleport after everyone else and then jump in there with the Shapeshift later on. Actually, not with Shapeshift, but, you get my point. They should leave the Lycan here, and probably the Lycan can outrace any sort of attempt from mYi. And mYi, they have to invest a hell of a lot if they want to kill this Lycan, because he has an Aegis.
Yep, I think that is the smart choice, and will probably secure them a tier 2 tower up in top if they do go for that move.
Well, this entire day has been just full of freaking pauses, man. It's
It really
unbelievable.
has. Pause gaming all around between, I don't know, JDL. The GG league games were okay, with the exception being that NIP decided that they'd forfeit game number 2 because game 1 was a raffle stomp. I don't think there's another way to put it. It was like 18-1, and then they just tapped out.
Was it like pre 20 minutes?
Oh yeah, it was like 13.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. That'll do it, I guess. There's not much coming back from that, but and even the other games that I was casting, those were paused as well, and huge delays. It's not a good day to be a Dota person, I guess.
Apparently not. Hopefully the other tournaments are proceeding a little bit better.
They're taking all the bandwidth.
Absolutely.
There's only a certain amount of bandwidth in the world, so they're taking it all. That's
Yep,
how it
there's
works.
only enough for actually just like 5 tournament Dota games at a time. Can't have any more.
Yeah, that's how it works. So over towards bottom lane, they're getting a swap back onto Cole. Silence of the Faith and Strangers means no magic missile. Slash Strike trying to peel the Storm Spirit away from the Venge, and it actually will work out well enough. The Orchid runs out and Venge Spirit is going to live. In the meantime, Grazine is going to teleport back up to the top lane. This Troll Warlord being very threatening to House of Gamers, probably a little bit, they're paying it a little bit more respect than they really should. Regardless, it's going to be traded damage everywhere. Tier 2 tower up on top lane, still going to survive, which is, I suppose, nice for mYi. So far, it's pretty much the split push and their split push alone that's keeping them, or keeping their structures alive in this game.
I'm actually incredibly surprised that Ogre Magi has managed to farm himself up an Agnum Scepter in the last couple minutes of this game. That's a huge pickup for Mitch, especially considering the fact that most of our supports just haven't been able to find much space, in particular the Jakiro and especially the Witch Doctor, although Witch Doctor probably won't get an Agnum Scepter anytime soon, so it doesn't really matter what he's building in towards, because he's dirt poor. He's just buying wards and smoke for his team.
0-5-0, definitely not the score that you want to see on any hero. Maybe it's okay for support, but I feel like he actually should have at least 1 assist. Like on the bottom lane, no, that chain stun like a million years ago. That was only taking out the Aegis. So yeah, Lizard is actually just not having a good game at all. But it doesn't really matter since Voodoo Restoration level 4 is not reflected in the kill score.
Yeah, it isn't. He's definitely had more impact than 0-4-0, or 0-5-0, excuse me. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. There you have it. Either way, the game is currently stalled out a little bit. mYi are getting some sort of momentum, and this game is completely zeroed out in the net worth and experience department. It just doesn't feel like it because of House of Gamers' teamfight potential. But with BKB on Troll, it's a lot easier for mYi to look for those engages. They've been spotting out Grazine for the last couple of seconds with this Invis Lycan Wolf, so they know exactly where the Troll is farming, but they don't really have the tool that they need, or tools that they need to kill him off solo. Agnum Scepter also purchased up by the Jakiro. This game, I think it's actually a pretty good pickup. Just being able to drop that down and have it last for 14 seconds up against the Lycan base push is pretty good.
And of course, it makes it so much easier to throw it out as well, since the AoE is absolutely crazy. You could throw it out from like a million miles away and hit your target. So that's pretty nice. This item is definitely a purchase. Is it still there? Slash Strike, the 30-minute Midas Brewmaster. After BKB Blink, maybe after Blink Dagger, I think Brewmaster with Hand of Midas is fine, but after BKB also, this is a little bit, yeah.
This feels like HoG are just like buckling down. Okay, this game is going 70 plus minutes. Let's do this thing. I don't think that's the right choice. I think going for anything else would have helped him more. It's also not for the levels. He's about to take level 16, halfway there already. So yeah, I don't really understand. I'd like to hear him defend this Midas pickup, though. It would be interesting. Either way, it probably is just that they want to take this game super late, or that they feel it's going super late. It will secure him a faster Scythe or Abyssal Blade, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess they also don't have the worst late game because they do have those big team fight ultimates that we keep talking about. So it is possible that they're completely okay with taking this late and relying on their ultimates. Of course, they probably could have gotten a read like this a little while ago before 30 minutes, just so that they could have actually bought this Midas earlier, and it would have been a little bit more useful for the team. And I don't know, might get value. It doesn't seem like My Insanity are going to end the game really soon, but if House of Gamers chill for a really long time, they might be wasting a lot of potential right now, since they have more than enough in order to actually try to fight near the enemy base, try to end the game with their ultimates, with the pushing power they have from the Lycan, but it seems like that's no longer their plan.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like it. It might be because of the farm that the two cores on Mine Sandy are getting. This quote-unquote farming build from Storm Spirit as well as from Troll, it's working pretty well for them. We're almost sitting at 15,000, or yeah, 15,000 net worth on the Storm Spirit and 14,000 on the Troll. And that Midas is starting to pay off for Grazine. He's going to be working towards what looks to be an Assault Cuirass, and he's going to have that very soon as well. Those structures are going to fall very quickly, and Storm Spirit's going to be well on his way towards a Hex, give or take about 3,000 gold.
And once he has that one up, then he could look for pickoffs, and it's going to be much, much easier for him to actually get those. Once he has the Hex, I'm pretty sure whoever he jumps onto is just dead. Maybe losing Aegis or whatever. Maybe SLHD is going to be able to crack and shell and force staff out, but that seems extremely unlikely. Cole is going to be able to solo kill pretty much anyone as long as they don't have Magic Immunity up. So House of Gamers, they certainly have to respect this moving forward. And what are they going to do to play around it? Doesn't seem like it's going to be that much. Maybe Roshan is what they're waiting for, respawning in a currently unknown amount of time, but it's going to be 2 minutes. So 2 minutes until House of Gamers or My Insanity will be able to get that. And until then, they're just going to be sitting on their ultimates. Is that really the plan that you want to take right now?
Yeah, not exactly sure. Storm Spirit, did spot out the Vengeful Spirit who was playing inside the tree lines, and it looked like he really wanted to kill off that Venge. Goes for a pretty liberal zip-in, but doesn't end up catching out the Venge, as Venge was aware that Storm had caught eyes on her. Yeah, the game stalled out. It feels like we haven't had a kill for the longest time, and the graphs, although they're a little bit skewed because of pauses, that feels about right.
Yeah, just a couple of straight lines. No one getting too much of an advantage either way. Maybe Hand of Midas on Slash Strike is going to pull House of Gamers ahead, but they have had these Necro books for quite a long time. Now a total of 6 levels. And this is the type of item that you get on, well, first of all, non-Lycan heroes, if you want to be pushing very aggressively in an attempt to break high ground, take tier 3s, take Raxes, and the game. Enigma is always going to be okay with a Necro book, since if you get them out before you black hole, then it will do some serious damage within the duration of that black hole for as long as the black hole lasts. But if they weren't actually planning on ending the game, then the Necronomicon could be much better served as a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff or a Shiva's or anything.
Yeah, I think like Blink Force or BKB would have been better, just the way that they're playing. For Lycanthrope, BKB is going to be his choice. Zip in onto the Brewmaster, but Stormster bit off more than he can chew. He's forced to zip TP out. He'll be able to succeed because that zip is really long. No way that they can actually bridge that gap without like 3 Force Staffs.
And that's clearly not going to be the purchase for My Insanity anytime soon. Actually, it is maybe possible that they get 3 Force Staffs in this game. If it is going to go really long, get one on Ogre, Witch Doctor, and Jakiro. It's probably not going to be the best item for them to get, but it's possible. But, yeah, I don't know. Roshan is going to be brought down very quickly by House of Gamers, and there's nothing that My Insanity can do about this.
Nope, definitely not. They don't need the Necronomicons. It's going to be an Aegis for Lycan. Cheese given... Who has the cheese? Slash Strike has the cheese. They were debating it, felt, for a couple of seconds, but that's what they're going to settle on. Brewmaster should be able to reliably get off his ultimate. With the BKB, I don't think there's really any doubt that he's going to be able to press R and get that off. And it is 16, or level 16 for the Brewmaster at about 35 minutes in the game. His ultimate's still pretty darn scary, but after the next fight or two, if they're actually looking to press the issue now, it's not going to be as hard for My Insanity to deal with him, especially the Troll, with the Assault Cuirass as well as just the attack speed from his ultimate. He'll be able to rip apart those Brood Elementals Brew Elementals. My goodness, it is getting pretty darn late, but very easily.
And, well, House Gamers, they have the Aegis. They're going to be forced once again to be on the defensive since mYi and Sandy have been split pushing so extremely well in this game. So they're keeping themselves in the game, at least avoiding any sort of confrontation. House Gamers, they want confrontation now, especially with this fresh refresher orb on the Tidehunter. That should be their #1 goal. Start a fight, try to win a fight, who cares? Even if they don't take a fight right outside of the enemy base, just take a fight anywhere. Try to use these ultimates. Otherwise, they're just going to be rotting, and every single second you pass where your ultimate is available is another second where it's not cooling down. They're going to try to chase after Cole. The Enigma's going to eventually catch up because of smoke movement speed, but the rest of the team is there as well. Ravage onto Cole. They need a black hole, and there it is. The Storm Spirit needs another stun, however. They have another Ravage, just in case. Although, not enough mana. They will kill off the Storm Spirit anyway. 40 seconds down, reduced because of that Bloodstone. Maybe it's going to be enough for House of Gamers to take this tier 2 tower.
If the Storm Spirit was paying attention to the creep wave's HP, the Tidehunter actually anchor smashed and hit one of the ranged creeps, so, yeah, I think he could have avoided that if he was just really, really looking at that own lane, but, honestly, when you're already falling back, it is unlikely. They're going to find a Lycan Wolf under a tower, mop that up, get a CS for themselves, but it still gave HoG a decent amount of information. They're going to jump into Grazine. They will get the swap to cancel that TP even through the Black King bar, and now Grazine is in a heap of trouble, even though he is pretty darn fast and they don't have anything else to pursue. Multicast onto SLHC as well as the Ignite onto 2. They are going to drop the Necronomicon. That macro power, ridiculously long, probably isn't going to accomplish much, except for cleaning up both of those Necrobooks.
I suppose Troll Warlord gets to walk away from that one, but still House Gamers have all of their ultimates up, with the exception of Black Hole, already used on top lane to kill off the Storm Spirit. But Storm Spirit's back up again, and tier 2 tower on the top is actually not going to be pushed. House Gamers want to go for the mid lane again, or for the first time, I suppose. This is probably a little bit pointless. Like, they have a Ravage, which is certainly very nice, but they don't have the double, they don't have Black Hole. Yet now is the time they choose to push. I mean, fine, you have a lot of pushing power, you might as well go for this. Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Apparently not. He
Oh,
dropped
jeez.
again. Okay, Internet Cafe, get your shit together. This isn't too hard to give stable internet connection to people. Malum does have his Black King bar, and the Necrobook has popped on the ground. But I suppose this is an opening where they have the Ravage, and Troll Warlord doesn't have his BKB to actually dodge that. So, I mean, it's sort of an opening. I think the bigger thing is that there's a DD on Lycanthrope.
Ah, I did not see that. He is kind of one with the ice. So, yeah, that's my excuse. Probably should have seen it beforehand, but otherwise, double damage popped by the Lycan, and it was actually a very fresh double damage rune as well because of that bottle. So, this is a hero that is going to be hitting pretty damn hard. Best case scenario for mYi and Sandy, they pick him off and then pop the Aegis and hopefully get rid of the double damage rune. But man, killing off this Lycan twice is going to be incredibly difficult, and the tower in the middle lane probably isn't going to last too long. Howl has... Why can't I click on Lycan? What is going on? There we go. Okay, Howl is still available, and with the Necro units all popped, I think this should be a very quick destruction unless mYi and Sandy make a play here. They don't have Macro Pyre, unfortunately. This is really where you want it.
Yeah, it definitely is. 20 seconds on cooldown. Maybe HoG have just hit the sweet spot, even though it looks a little bit awkward for them to go high ground now. If Grazine actually gets his internet together, maybe they'll actually be able to take the game. Or not the game, but this lane of barracks. They do have a glyph to delay this push. I expect that to be popped, like, maybe as soon as Howl is. Depends on when mYi and Sandy actually want to look for this engagement. If they can wait out till they have BKB on Troll until they have Macro Pyre again, maybe this fight isn't as hard for mYi and Sandy.
That's going to happen in 20 seconds, 25 seconds. That is way too long to wait up against the pushing power of House of Gamers. So it's definitely ideal. Like, it's what they want to have happen. But sometimes you don't get what you want. And they're going to have to go in and just try to take this fight. There is still a cheese and still Aegis on the Lycan, so there is that to consider. Maybe they get some nice Death Ward value. Maybe they had the perfect initiation. Maybe they roll lucky with the multicasts. These are all things that mYi and Sandy can get away with, and maybe it'll help them defend, but still House Gamers are doing pretty well right now for themselves because they have all this ultimate power.
Yeah, I'd just like to get this game underway.
Yeah, that would sound pretty good. It's Yeah, it's happening again.
Don't even joke about that SLHC. This guy is quite the troll.
If they actually remade, if that actually happened, I'm just out. Like, no.
Yeah, I would definitely feel like not casting it. My goodness. Either way, trolls back into the game. Looks like we are about to go, and well, we actually have a Dota game. Not the pause loading screen that many of you joined this stream for. We are going to see the Tier 3 tower take a whole heap load of damage. Hal's already been popped, Necrobook's on the ground, Tier 3 is gone. They're going to glyph it at 22 HP and attempt to jump in with the troll. They're going to stun up Malum not once, but twice. Zip forward by the Storm Spirit. They now work onto the melee barracks. Malum dropping low, but has the Aegis. He is going to lose that to drop the melee barracks at about half. Mitch now completely tapped out of mana. Is going to be stunned up by the magic missile after the swap, but they're standing inside the macro power. Malum still wants to get this tower. BKB popped by both the troll as well as the Lycanthrope. As Lycanthrope goes for the structure, Slash Strike is getting bashed down, but not bashed down enough. Huge zip in. They will drop the Ravage, but a little bit too late. They wanted to wait out Krasin's BKB, and they're just not finishing anything off. Huge zip in again by Cole. He's not deciding exactly where he wants to go. Cheese pop by SLHC, but that's not going to save your life, especially not when you get 3 times pulled to cast Ice Path and pulled back by the Electric Vortex. The Lycanthrope's forced to pull out, and in the end, high ground defended by mYi. None of that damage is going to stick, and HoG have no ultimates.
That was an extremely sloppy fight by House of Gamers. First of all, they pretty much just suicide Malum onto the Raxes, which is fine, I suppose, but the Ravage, well, first of all, the split didn't come out, so that definitely did not happen. The Ravage was held for a really, really long time by the Tidehunter. Could have launched it to hit 2 heroes, but decided to wait and go for a little bit more. But as soon as he saw his opening, he got Yule Sceptered or thrown up into the air by something, and he was unable to cast it. And by the time he landed, everyone on his team was dead or retreating. Yet he still had the opportunity, so he casted it anyway. So Tidehunter ultimately wasted that Ravage, and now mYi with the Battle Trance, they're going to go straight into Malum. Faith of Stranger is going to give his life for that Lycan, but Lycan all by himself can't do this, especially with Cole zipping in. Malum's going to get pulled back into the Macro Pyre. He's going to get the kill on the Lycan, and the Raxes are going to fall. This is not what I expected to happen. House of Gamers take one really bad fight, and all of a sudden they're down Raxes, maybe not only one. They have double buybacks right now, but they really don't want to double buyback for this. They're going to try to go for it. Blink forward, Ravage available. They will use it only onto Mitch. However, Grazine the BKB is going to just lay into that Tidehunter, and it will be enough to bring him down. Now onto a moment he goes. He's going to get stunned up with the boulder, and he will be taking a fall, but still Tidehunter down. Mitch is not going to be lucky enough to escape as he's completely surrounded by little Brewlings, and he is going to be brought down, chain stunned as well, just for good measure. It's going to be still a Rax being taken by the mYi side. House of Gamers, their ultimates. Brewmaster Split just used. Double Ravage not up for another 2 minutes. They do have a black hole, but man, this is a serious turn of events for mYi.
It is. That's one of the strengths of Troll. It's kind of like Lone Druid or even Lycanthrope. When you lose a fight, transitioning into towers is really easy. I didn't think it would be that easy. mYi just lay into those structures, and even though HoG had a handful of buybacks, they decided not to spend them, and honestly, it probably wouldn't have mattered because they didn't have the ultimates to back it up. mYi are now in firm control of this game. My goodness, look at that graph. That's impressive.
Well, that's one bad fight. That is one bad fight for House of Gamers, and the crackback from mYi with Troll's ultimate, with the minus armor from the Assault Cuirass. And suddenly House of Gamers, they're no longer in an advantageous position. They still have their ultimates, so even if they do fall 10k behind in both experience and gold, they will still have the dream of huge black hole, huge ravage, while split happens, etc., etc., etc. But mYi just got a huge break in this game, and the results of that fight is a sheepstick completed by the Storm Spirit. Don't believe he had that before. There is now a Blink Dagger on Ogre Magi. There is a Shiva's Guard on the Jakiro. These are some pretty big ticket items for mYi. And well, there's 3,800 gold on the Troll Warlord. He needs an MKB to deal with this evasion / miss chance of the brew.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even think it's him being forced in the MKB. It kind of feels like he doesn't need it because he can just bash away at the towers with the BKB on to not deal with that mischance, but it's going to be a pretty ridiculous amount of damage. And that mini bash, although not super impactful on a lot of heroes on Troll, can't say the same when he's hitting as fast as he is. Currently, 629 attack speed, 0.31 per attack. Grazine just goes to town, and you're going to get all of your animations cancelled, and then you get the true bash from his, I don't know, just hero in general. It's pretty insane.
and that's with no Bloodlust. And was that with Battle Trance on the numbers that you just
Yes.
said? Okay, so that's with Battle Trance, no Bloodlust.
Yeah, Battle Trance, no Bloodlust. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Even with no buffs on him, he's already hitting it like 360. Then he hits you once or twice with Fervor, and yeah, it's all smooth sailing from there. Without his ultimate, he's pretty much hitting at max.
And that sounds pretty good. Troll Warlord, suddenly Ursa, and that attack speed is going to stick onto whoever he could hit for more than 3 times, and those 3 times are going to come out in 1 second, just about. So this Troll Warlord is getting pretty big still. Storm Spirit being pretty influential. House of Gamers still are just fine. No, if you pause again, I swear to Jeebus. Please don't lag. Who's lagging anyway? It's the troll?
It's Troll.
You don't need ping to play troll. Just right click someone.
Yeah.
Up, EKB, right click.
Press R, A click the ground. You're good. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need anything more than that. Oh, God.
Maybe you need a Maelstrom to do that comfortably. Like, you get the Maelstrom and then you're going to be killing all the creeps and everyone else, you know?
I think so. Maybe just build a Battle Fury. Like, I don't care.
That's
I-
good too.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get benefit from in the range for him. I don't know. Who knows? I just don't think Mjolnir's that great, even though the Chain Lightning is pretty awesome. The attack speed actually does nothing onto him, and we've kind of already covered that.
That's
He's
true.
hitting at max attack speed anyway.
Unfortunately, we should get like a third AoE item. I think there should be an item that lets ranged heroes hit an AoE.
Actually,
Splash
just
damage.
give them split shot.
No, not split shot, splash damage.
Splash damage, so like the Dragon Knight ulti one,
Yeah, like that, except
Okay.
on a stick.
except on a stick. It's
We'll call
actually
it Dragon on a Stick.
we'll fry
new
it up
Dota
and,
item.
yeah. You eat it. It's consumable that works for like 5 minutes and gives you AoE damage.
Dude, that would be sweet if we had consumables like that, like battle consumables. People would be complaining so hard that we're League
Oh
of
yeah,
Legends now.
they would.
That would be great. I just want to see the cries of pain and people trying to justify how it doesn't fit with Dota.
It'll actually just be there for April Fools. Everybody will buy a dragon on a stick, and ranged heroes will be OP as hell because they'll have 100% cleave.
It doesn't have to be 100% splash. It could be like 20%. You could balance that shit.
Oh yeah, you could definitely
eat
balance it. I think that would actually be not a bad idea.
Guys, Ice Frog, I'm for hire, you know, just in case you're watching.
Absolutely. Roshan, number 4, going to go the way of HoG, unless I've lost count, which is a
It's
definite
4.
possibility. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And now with the Basher on Lycanthrope, a double life, it feels like HoG don't really have anything else to wait for. That's pretty scary for them.
Yeah, so they are very close to being 6-slotted onto Lycan. Honestly, 6 slots on their other heroes, not really going to be too influential. Maybe get a Shiva's Guard, maybe get a couple more aura items thrown in there, random sheep sticks if they could afford it, like Brewmasters right now. Certainly a very nice item to have for the team. But as far as their right-click damage output, Lycan is getting close to a point where he's just going to be absolutely capped out. And a 6-slotted Lycan, very scary for sure, but is probably not going to end up winning a duel versus a 6-slotted Troll Warlord. And Troll Warlord is now going to be going for a butterfly of his own, so he is actually just very, very hard to kill. But speaking of kills, that is the worst transition ever. Mitch is going to be running in Slash Strike and a moment. He has a haste rune, though. Ogre is going to get his way out of there. Here comes Malum, though, a little bit faster with a super haste. And now first hit bash. Are you kidding me? That's some BS right there. Mitch is going to get blinked upon, and he will try to run away, but he is doomed to fall. Honestly, I don't think the Ogre really was able to get out of there anyway, but still, it's the thought that counts.
It really is. Just the way that he went down. Apparently you can't run from heaven or from giant wolves. Yep. That's going to be the end of Ogre's life, but it'll be back up in 30 seconds, and honestly, I don't think that death really matters much. It is a support, and although it would be nice to get some more items onto him, his effectiveness is pretty much completely capped out. Level 16, and getting the 3 points up in multicast is probably his biggest leap in power, but for that, you don't really need the extra farm. One team fight ought to do it.
And with the team fights that mYi have been taking so far, that certainly seems within the realm of possibility. House of Gamers, it seems like they honestly don't really know what they're trying to do right now. Are they supposed to be pushing? Are we supposed to be like just trying to go for these pickoffs on Ogre? Are we going to play a game? I don't know, man. These are all questions that only they know.
Okay, you asked me a couple days ago what was the worst pause sound. You know what it is? It's actually Storm Spirit's ulti. I think it's actually stopped. Why did it stop? It was going for the longest of times. That was at least 15 seconds of zip zap.
It stopped on mine too. Like I wasn't watching the Storm Spirit, but now it's gone. I think no, the worst one is actually Razor, Static Link.
Yeah, we talked about that one. Razor
I
with
think
the
that wasn't
Immortal
me,
in
actually.
particular.
All you casters sound the same.
I think it was D Swordfish that talked about Razor and the Immortal.
Yeah, that probably. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't me. We have to flesh out this dragon on a stick idea, man. Send it into Volvo, get that shit made, and then brand it. It'll like have a little logo on it, and then people will be pissed.
Absolutely.
Once you start having logos on in-game items.
Okay, so how you actually craft it is you buy 4 quarterstaffs, you get them in your inventory, and then you kill an ancient black drake. And then it's actually even more like League. You get like that red buff.
Well, first of all, the 4 quarterstaffs turns into a staff.
Yeah, it's just a stick.
So, yeah, just to save you item space, like you don't want to be holding 4 quarterstaffs. Those
Maybe
items
that's
are
part of the challenge. Like you actually have to hold all 4 quarterstaffs while you're killing. So you have to drop your other items on the ground.
So it's one of those items.
It is one of those items. It's actually a quest.
So you have to open up Dota, type -quest, or press Q to bring up your quest log, or I guess not Q since that's your skill. Some other button. J for journal, and then assemble a couple quarterstaffs, buy the slay a dragon, grab his head. For whatever reason, it does not work with Jakiro. Nobody knows why. It's just the way Volvo intended it to be.
I think so. It's beautiful.
And imagine the rage if that is actually like in real games. People would be so pissed. They'll be excited, but then there'll be some people who are just like, this is the most bullshit thing I've ever seen in my life.
I would probably be in the second camp. Not gonna lie. Even like
I probably
this,
don't play enough to be offended by it.
Probably not. Even like this PA event though. I think that's pretty...
Oh yeah, that's true. You have so many quarterstaffs being purchased. Slash Strike in the meantime is going to get jumped and hexed. Help from Mitch is going to kill him off. Brewmaster down. He is down for a minute, and he has no buyback. Yeah, this represents an opportunity for mYi to go to the top lane. They are paying that out, House Gamers, for defense. mYi, though, they have no Witch Doctor in the area, and he's pretty darn slow with brown boots. Guisine is going the opposite direction. They are not going to go for this push.
I don't know. If it wasn't clear that House of Gamers weren't going to push in this duration of the ages, now they really can't after that Brewmaster pickoff. So, looks like for the next 2 minutes, it's going to be them on the defense, which is really not where you're supposed to be. You get a fresh item on your lycanthrope, and then you get an Aegis. You want to be taking the aggressive play, and that's just not in the cards for them. Butterfly now up on the Troll Warlord is going to make it really hard for Malum to actually do the damage to him. And honestly, I'm okay with this Butterfly pickup. I would have liked to see just some raw damage, MKB or Daedalus. But this is going to make that Creep Armade do a whole lot less to him. And if he wasn't attacking fast enough already, let's see. Without Bloodlust, he's getting close to max. With 4 Fervor.
Yeah, seems pretty good to me. Bloodlust and Battle Trance, and he's actually just going to be capped out. Monkey King Bar should be the build somewhere down the line for Troll, although I think this is about time where you want to be considering a set of Boots of Travels for yourself, just because you don't really want to have a TP scroll in your inventory. So that should be the pickup for the Troll Warlord eventually, and then probably an MKB as the last, or Daedalus, but MKB is certainly better against the Brewmaster Haze. So with that, he will probably just be at max attack speed, and that's pretty darn scary. Also, now the Witch Doctor has his Aghanim Scepter, level 2 ultimate, with an Aghanim's upgrade. It's very unlikely that he's going to be able to get that one out for very long, because he's up against double Ravage. But if he somehow finds a position or whatever to channel it, then, man, that could be really dangerous for House of Gamers.
It really could. I think this is probably one of the biggest items we've seen in a long time in this game. Even though Butterfly is nice for your troll, just the amount of damage you're able to put out with an Ag's Witch Doctor ulti is honestly insane. Excuse me. Lincoln's Sphere, the purchase offers Storm Spirit instead of going for the BKB. I'm not sure if I like this. Lincoln's is going to be useful against the swaps. Eventually, once Abyssal Blade comes out and Scythe from the Brewmaster, that's when this Lincoln's is really going to be nice. But I think just going for the Black King bar up against Brewmaster and Tidehunter split would have been more useful.
Yeah, you're probably just going to eat a random Malphus or something, and Malphus is annoying for sure, but not worth spending this much gold in order to counter. The ideal is, as you said, blocking a Sheepstick and or an Abyssal Blade, and Abyssal Blade, speaking of, is now up on Lycan. But also, most of the time you can get away with the BKB in that case. It's going to block Sheep, not going to block Abyssal, but what are the odds of the Storm Spirit being near the Lycan without like having the Lycan shut down in some way? It's very, very slim.
Is there a way to turn off autopause in lobbies? I don't think there is, and there probably should be.
But they really don't want to play without their troll, I guess. So
No. I mean, apparently they are playing without the troll. He has been AFK in base.
report, guys. Spend all your reports. Grazine trying to throw the game.
I like this ogre's logic. He was AFK in base, or he timed out of TeamSpeak 2 minutes ago, but it's more space for me.
Hey, man, you need your 6-slotted ogre. He can't quite get up to max movement speed, but if you just use Bloodlust on yourself all the time, you'll get up there. You'll get up there. He just needs, 3 or 4 Hyperstones.
Of course. Of course. I was thinking more down the Ethereal Blade route, though.
But
See,
I guess that
that's-
does give a lot of agility.
Yeah, it does. That's 40 attack speed, and it gives you a badass nuke.
So, Ethereal Blade, Quadcast,
Yes.
the dream.
The dream is real. Come on, Ogre. You can farm up another, 4,000 gold on top of this? No, it's less than that. It's like 2.8.
Huh, I didn't realize that Unrefined Fire Blast actually did more damage than Fire Blast. I thought it did less.
It does the same, okay?
Really?
Wait, what?
When did this happen? Is this
what?
actually...
What? What is this madness?
Have I just been
What?
wrong this entire time? It always feels like it does less.
What? Yeah, I thought it was the same. I actually thought it was the same. I'm stupid.
Shit, apparently we both don't know what the hell we're talking about.
And
in
I
this
actually
game
play Ogre, like, a bunch. Like, I didn't know. What is this? Okay.
It is only a supposedly 30 damage difference. Or, 35. So, to be fair, it's not noticeable that much. But I was just like, how much will a Ethereal Blade Quadcast actually do? And apparently, a little bit more than I thought. About 35 times 4 more than I thought.
Yeah, and that actually starts to become significant when you look at extreme cases, but I don't know. Either way, we are going to have HoG grouped up, although they're not smoked. They are as pretty much a 5-man unit, and it looks like they want to take the fight to mYinsanity. They have the Aegis no longer on the Lycanthrope. I believe that timed out. He hasn't died since.
Yeah, he hasn't died because no one has died or nothing has happened. It's hard to do stuff when your Troll Warlord's AFK, but now mYinsanity, they're looking for blood. And they might run into a Tidehunter. Pretty bad positioning for mYinsanity. Pretty great positioning for a Tidehunter unless he gets initiated upon. There's one Fire Blast. Grazine, though, instantly getting hexed up as they throw out the Ravage. Going to connect onto 2. Secondary Ravage going to be thrown as well. Only connecting onto 1 this time. Grazine going to be focused down, but he has life stealing. Will turn around and chase everyone away. Lizard in the meantime is going to be chased down by Wolf. He will be brought down. Grazine is still being chased down by an Earth Element, and he will actually just change his mind and go for SLHG. Will turn around and get that Tidehunter kill. Still alive with the Vlads and is still kicking. Ogre Magic can take a fall instantly, buying back and set it for a Black Hole onto the Storm Spirit. They will catch him with it, but it's a little bit too slow because Mitch is here with the multicast onto a moment. Cole is going to zip right back in, trying to go for that Enigma, and he will bring him down. Malum trying to get his hands onto Cole, but he's going to get pulled back, not the way he wanted to. They also kill off the Troll in the meantime, but he buys back straight into this fight. Definitely worthwhile buyback for the Ogre Magi. Not sure if that's worthwhile for the Troll, but they're going to set up for the Vengeful Spirit following, and even the neutrals helping out because the neutrals are feeling uppity in this game. It's going to be Jakiro to take that kill, and House of Gamers, they have buybacks on 3 heroes. They might have to use them right about now.
What a cluster of a fight. I have no idea what to call that. That was incredibly spread out. There was like 3 engagements going on at the same time. It starts out about this area, and then the action just explodes, actually just everywhere.
Well, they're going to have to buy back right now, House of Gamers, else they very quickly lose another set of racks. It's going to be bottom lane to be fortified first. Oh, now we can actually see how much attack speed Grazine has. 0.31 per attack. It takes him 1 second to max out his fervor, and then, well, the racks are going to feel that. Malam's going to pop the BKB and try to turn around and fight. Swap out for Malam as Grizine's just going to go to town into whoever he gets his hands on. He gets bashed by the Abyssal, but he's not taking enough damage. Cole's in the middle of everything as well. Grizine not getting any help, however. Everyone's focusing Grizine. They will bring down the troll. No buyback. Now Lizard, though, finding an opening with his Aghanim Scepter ultimate. Won't do too much as Malam's right on top of him. Will make short work of that Witch Doctor as Cole's going to zip back from this fight into that Enigma. Will get out of there alive, it seems, though he's dropping pretty low. Malam is going to be dropping even lower, even faster. Gets Force Staffed out, maybe. Ice Path is going to whiff. Malam just still fighting with that Vlad's Lifesteal. Might kill off Mitch. No. An Unrefined Fire Blast will kill him off. Mitch completely out of mana, completely out of health. He's going to run straight into a Brewmaster. That's never where you want to be. He will blink over that Brewmaster. It's going to be him a launch to take the heat. He's going to be the one to fall unless he gets this clutch Ice Path out. Also has a Yule Scepter. He might actually escape from this one. Troll, or the Wolves rather, still chasing after everyone, but here comes Cole. He's going to return to this fight, and he's going to instantly kill off the Tide. Now into Slash Strike he goes with an Unrefined Fire Blast. Again, Slash Strike is going to fall. Cole, he didn't even buy back from that. He just walked out of there. I thought he went down. But the Brewmaster and Tidehunter still have buybacks. Can Brewmaster actually do this 1v3? Because there is still an Unrefined Fire Blast from Ogre Magi. With Tidehunter's backup, they might be able to. SLHG can throw a Ravage, can connect onto 3, will instantly kill off the Jakiro. Cole and Mitch should be fine. Clap onto Cole. He has a lot of mana to get out of here, but Mitch maybe not as lucky. Multicast 3 times, 4 times the last strike with the 5th from the regular. Cole is going to zip back in, but he instantly gets Hex and he will be beaten down. Bloodstone heal onto Mitch, and he will be juked out of a clap for now. But I think this Ogre Magi is doomed to fall. SLHG going to slowly beat him down. Mitch maybe is going to buy enough space with the Blink Dagger to survive, but after all said and done, pretty much no one else has a buyback in this game.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much true. Jakiro and Storm Spirit do, but they're not going to be forced to use those buybacks since they were taking that fight so close to the enemy base, and Storm Spirit's going to be back up soon. I believe when he died he had 17 Bloodstone charges, so Cole back up and kicking already, has boots of travel if he really needs to get into any engagement soon, and I have no idea who that actually favors. It kind of feels like mYi take an edge as far as gold is concerned, and my goodness, if you look at the graph, yeah, that's now over a 10,000 advantage. It hasn't actually fully updated. Experience more or less negligible, but they get a lot of buybacks forced out from HoG.
And the next time that happens, mYi might even be packing that double life, as Roshan is now up again. House of Gamers, they have 1 Ravage if they want to use the Refresh Orb, but unless they do that, they will have none. They have Black Hole, they have Split, they have pretty much everything that they could possibly need, but it just seems like that all of that is just not good enough because their ultimates aren't landing on enough people. Like, the Ravages have been hitting, well, the last fight, 2 Ravages hit a total of 3 people. And that is just not good enough. You should be hitting 6-ish if you're going to be using 2 Ravages.
Yeah. At the very least. It's a huge AoE spell, and it might not tag the Troll Lord. Storm Spirit might be able to zip out of that. But still, it just didn't really feel like it did much of anything, except for killing off the Jakiro, I suppose, which is kind of nice. But I don't think it's using Ravage nice, okay? We do have the double Ravage cooling down for 24 seconds, and both teams are going to be fighting at full potential, more or less, in this next engagement. For Jakiro, actually looks like Milan's going to be getting a refresher. I would think that Macro Pyre stacks, but the amount of refresher Jakiros that I've actually seen in the pro game, I think is 1, and I don't think it really impressed me.
Yeah, I don't think there's any interaction that would indicate that it doesn't stack, but who knows, because no one has actually ever done this before, because turns out Refresh Orb is just like a banned item on Jakiro. It's not that good. First of all, like, double Macro Pyre may be nice, but the odds of them actually sitting in the Macro Pyre are slim to none. Is there anything else that he could be going for with this Oblivion staff? Like
Orchid, I suppose.
Orchid?
I might actually like Orchid better. Like, not gonna lie. I think an extra silence for the Brewmaster might be more useful, but he has the BKB anyway, so yeah, who knows.
If you're going to be going for Orchid, you might as well be going for a Sheepstick. It's that long in the game, and Sheepstick is pretty much just Orchid, except better.
Except you can't BKB out of it, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Maybe we will see the Refresh Orb. It will be the first time for me, but it's going to be a team fight brewing. Cole is going to blow a smoke, and he will be jumped upon by a Ravage. Black Hole's available as well. They have enough Chain Stun to just annihilate Cole. He's down for a minute. Has buyback. SLHG going to jump forward for another Ravage. Will connect onto 3. This time a total of 4 people hit with it. Slightly better than last time, I suppose, but Grazine going to pop the BKB instantly into the Black Hole. He goes. There's no damage going onto Grazine, however. Now the Death Ward is going to be channeled, which will cut through pretty much everyone. Grazine's still alive because he's so damn tanky, and Cole's zoning out everyone else in the meantime. Malum trying to run away as that wolf. Grazine is somehow still surviving with that Voodoo Restoration. He might even kill the Brewmaster. No, the last Brewling has 60 HP and is hiding in the Roshamp pit, but Cole is going to chase down for Faith in Strangers, and I don't think the VS has any way of getting out of this. There's a lot of mana regeneration on the Storm Spirit, and in fact, he's going to change his mind and try to go for Slash Strike. He lets the Vengeful Spirit escape, but it still will be 2 kills. Ogre Magi does end up cleaning up the Enigma down on the south end of that fight. Maybe they have to worry about top lane. Maybe they will defend that, but Grazine, so damn tanky with that evasion and the armor. He's going to claim himself a double life. Maybe a cheese for the Storm Spirit, or the other way around. That's probably better. And they still have a lot of momentum over towards mid lane, where the tier 4s are actually gone. Didn't really notice that happening. Slow but steady pushing from the creeps. They're going to try to end the game right here, right now. They have no Ravages. They have no split either. Mitch is going to jump in for Faith in Strangers. Will get jumped upon by Malum. Grazine, though, doesn't give a damn about any of that. He's just going to focus down. The Ancient Fortification is there. Cole, in the meantime, going to kill the Vengeful Spirit. Malum caught in one Macropyre. He's going to be taking so much damage. He can't move. Why isn't he moving? I think the Fire Blast stunned him there, and that will be GG. It's going to be mYinsanity to take it.
If there weren't any pauses, that would be a pretty interesting game to watch. It did mess up with the pacing a little bit, but in the end, it is going to be HoG to make this draft work, and honestly, all that they needed to do was wait until HoG, or mYinsanity to take it. My goodness, HoG to take a subpar fight with those big ultimates, and mYinsanity were just able to bash down the structures with Troll, and it's happened twice, and it happened at 2 times that it actually mattered. 57 minutes in the game, it's all about teamfight execution. Even though that last fight was okay for HoG, it wasn't a crushing win, and they kind of needed it to be.
They didn't kill off the Troll, and I think that's the real problem. Storm Spirit was bad, but buyback and then Boots of Travel, so it's like he never died.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. This is a best of 2, so we're going to have one more game coming up, and hopefully this time around we'll have some better internet for Grazine.
Yeah, right.